Oof. The cleanup man, Zane Edmonds, probably the last person that Hale wanted to face in this situation. He's leading the state in home runs, average, and RBIs, and he's going to skip the pro draft even though people thought he was going to go in the top 20 for sure. He wants to go to NCAA D1 Allen Shepherd University. Hale versus Edmonds. Here with the bases full and nobody out. Hale leans in, gets the sign from the catcher Jones. And the pitch.
So I'm just gonna spitball them, just throw it out here. Tell me something, Noah. Why don't they give you a gun? I mean, you are like a cop on training wheels, right?
It's a fun park, Simon. It's not open to the public yet. Why would I need a gun?
Okay, so what are you supposed to use? Your harsh language?
No, you idiot. This.
That's it? For Christ's sake, I have a pink 22 in my car.
For the record, I would love to see your pink 22 page.
Okay, everyone. Sexual harassment, everyone.
Okay, what she likes.
Anyway, I know it doesn't look like much. This thing will knock a rhino flat on its ass, okay? 50,000 volts for anyone who gets out of line.
Ooh, I wouldn't want to see you in a back alley there, Noe.
Cabin's so isolated in the woods, so nobody could hear Addison screaming at night.
You know, I found it on an app, and I was going to send you the link, but goddamn, you know, I just forgot. You made it here, though, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, Greg, he sent it to me.
Sorry. Zach's a legend, man. Can't party without him.
Is that a problem?
No, that's no problem. Me creepy cabin is Sue creepy cabin.
That's it? Just a mistake? So you're going to sit here and tell me that you didn't enjoy yourself?
I don't enjoy the fact that you've slept with everyone we've met since high school. I don't enjoy the comments that you make about women. Or the comments that they make about you. I'm confused, okay?
You're right. I'm sorry. Whenever you figure out what you need, I'm here.
What's the plan?
You sure you want to do that?
Yeah, of course I'm sure. Me and her, we've been together off and on since we were kids.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. Y'all used to break up all the time.
Yeah, we broke up and then we got back together. That's because I love her.
Are you sure you don't want to marry her because of something else?
You know, man, I really don't understand what the fuck your problem is.
I'm just saying, just because somebody's good in bed doesn't mean you have to tie yourself down. Do you see me emptying out my wallet for every flooze that I fuck around with for a while?
Jesus, you're a fucking pig!
Ava, wait! This is your fucking fault.
Oh, really? Because it seems to me you're finally being treated the way you treat other people.
It's like, take a fucking walk, man. You're being weird.
Ava!
And here we are again with another podcast of Traveling Actors with your hosts, Deaton Gabbard
And Brandon Wall.
Brandon. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good.
Back in the studio again?
Back in the studio.
Part two.
Don't date this. They don't know. They think we're doing this weekly. They don't know I'm just changing shirts. It's fine. But yeah, so it's funny because another episode we talked about how we started the podcast, and now we get to kind of go full circle. And I'm gonna put the spotlight on you, Brandon. We're gonna talk about what you've done since we started that podcast.
Yeah. Well, we started originally just we were heading out to Chicago. We're doing a film called Hell's Half Acre, something that we both got to be a part of. And we were heading to Chicago, and we're like, what can we do to pass the time? Like, what would be fun? So I think you came up with the idea because you had your laptop on you, and we're like, why don't we just do a podcast? And we're like, that'd be cool. So we started it in Chicago. I think we filmed, 3-4 episodes heading to Chicago.
Because we had like a 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
So I think we spent at least like 4 hours of that recording a few episodes until we got bored or ran out of topics. And we were like, okay, now we just want to listen to music. Or I think we listened to like comedy or something. I can't remember.
Well, it was interesting too after we started releasing some of the first season, and people were really interested in it. And we're like, we could do this and make some money off of it too, and just talk about our life and acting. And I mean, if you haven't read the title, it's Podcast of Traveling Actors. So we travel.
We're very
actors.
original.
Yeah, very original.
And now we're in studio.
Straight to the point. Yeah.
Now we're in studio, but we have people traveling to us. So
so it still makes sense. It makes sense.
And we travel to studio.
I guess
that
we could.
counts.
I mean, I guess for per guest, we can switch the pictures.
Yeah, just put them in the background running like they're going to get run over or something. That'd be kind of
yeah, so that's kind of how we started. And here we are now, like you said, in studio.
Yeah, and that was like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I think I looked at the podcast and it was like 2021 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a while. And I know we filmed Hell's Half Acre in the winter, I'm pretty sure, because it was freezing inside of the,
in
the
that,
Joliet
in the
prison.
jail cell. Yeah, that's why we had to reshoot it because you could see your breath. And it was just it was so distracting.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
We're like, there's no way you can cut
You
around
could
this.
just
And
say
they're
it was
like,
a
no.
ghost or something.
The whole time following you.
Yeah, there's a ghost behind you the entire time. But anyway, yeah, it's been like 2 or 3 years, Brandon. So tell us like what you've been up to since then, because you've done quite a bit since that project.
Yeah. So one of the ones that come to mind right off the bat is Late Checkout. That was one of the movies that it's funny. We have a run-on joke that, I'm Deaton's sloppy seconds, I guess you should say. We'll go into that later. But
we should go into that now. I feel like before people wonder about that. So to clarify that, basically, like there was a year where if I couldn't do something, they would always call Brandon.
Yeah.
Like it started out, I think it was the same year actually. That January, I had like one of my first print gigs.
It was your first print gig.
It was
ever.
my first print gig.
I remember you were excited about it.
I was so excited because I never book print gigs. No one wants me to be like still for some reason. They want me to be moving and running past the camera. But what happened was I got COVID. And so they immediately called Brandon, and he calls me, and he's like, I got that gig that you wanted so bad.
So it's been a thing, and it's happened multiple times now since then.
Multiple times.
But it was the same situation. I was going through a really rough breakup. It was around Derby time 2 years ago now, I guess.
Yeah, 2 years.
It's 2 years now, yeah. It was around Derby time, and I got a phone call, and I was like really bored. And she was like, it was Cassidy, and Cassidy called me, and she was like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, absolutely
Just
nothing.
for the audience, that's what's her last name?
I don't know her last name now. I
We
feel
suck.
like a really bad person.
So we know Cassidy by her maiden name of Owens.
Yeah.
I can't think of her.
May, yeah.
Cassidy May. Great person. We've known her for years. Go ahead.
Sorry. We didn't know your last name.
We'll cut around that. So just so you know that was Cassidy May.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting around it.
Yeah, no, not at all. And she called me, she said, what are you doing? I was like, nothing. She's like, you want to come to North Carolina for a movie? And once again, this is after they called Deaton. And
so what happened was I'd already gotten, I guess, lucky. I would filmed like 2 or 3 things where I had to call into work, and this was like a blackout date. Whereas Derby, I work at a casino that's also like a horse racing thing.
Yeah.
And so I just could not swing it. There was no way. And
so they called me. I was the backup. And they're like, hey, do you want to do a movie? I was like, yeah, it's cool. We talked rates and, traveling and all that stuff. And it worked out to where I was like, let's do it. But it was funny because they sent me the script that day. I had to film the next day. So I had to literally leave on Friday and arrive in North Carolina on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I drove through the night, got there. And honestly, it's probably one of the best shoots I've ever been
And you're
part
not
of.
a small role. Like,
No,
this
it's
isn't
a very heavy supporting role.
Yeah, this isn't like he had to learn like 2 pages, guys, and just show up.
I think it was like 68 to 70 pages.
Yeah.
At least.
So tell us what your process was about, like, for that.
It was fun. It turned out better, honestly, than a lot of stuff that I prepared for. And I think it's also that, sudden moment, like your
you didn't
adrenaline's rushing.
over-prepare.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not
it was
stuck
fresh.
in the
It
way
literally
that you've
was
been
fresh.
doing.
They always say,
Yeah.
learn the script, forget it. That way it's fresh, but that way you do know what the script is. So it kind of felt like that. So I got on there. I broke down the script as much as I could, the character, and then I sat with the person that I pretty much did most of my scenes with, and we kind of went over it. And she was new as well because both the people that dropped out were both those roles, and they had COVID. So she was brand new as well. So both of these characters that are pretty much, a big supporting. I mean, we just got thrown in there. But we worked really well off each other. Like most of the people in the L.C. Holt was there. Chaney was there.
Chaney Morrow?
Morrow, is that how you pronounce his last name? Morrow.
I think so.
And then you had like, who else was on there?
Well, first off, shout out to the director. Who's the director?
Josh Graves.
Graves.
Yeah, Josh Graves is amazing too. By the way, if you've never worked with Josh Graves, he's
I'm trying to. I'm gonna put this
great
out there.
person.
I've messaged you a few times, Josh. You should look at your
inboxes.
Even when you asked, are there any actors? I DM'd you on both Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, he was an amazing director. He's very supportive. He's very like actor minded. Like he wanted the actors to be able, to take their take on the character, and then he kind of helps build it around. So he's a really good director. I would highly recommend work with him. Really good guy. But I got there, broke it down, got on set. Chemistry was amazing with everybody. I've already worked with L.C. Holt once on Phantom Fun World, actually.
Oh yeah,
we'll talk
Speaking
about
of great
good
directors,
good
so
segue.
you want to talk about Phantom Fun World a little bit?
Phantom Fun World was actually it was a really fun project to be a part of. I've been on Tori Jones's project 3 times now, so I've done Wicked Ones, They See You, and Phantom Fun World. And Phantom Fun World was probably my favorite one.
Yeah,
we filmed inside of an old Gaddy Land, which was it was a working Gaddy Land.
Yep.
It was serviceable, but we filmed in there. They gave it to us for free. By the way, like they gave us the whole location
don't
for free.
tell them that.
No, I'm gonna let you know. I'm letting you know. But it was really cool. We went in there. I was a douchebag, of course. I feel like that's the characters.
So what was your character?
A douchebag.
Oh, okay. So you're typecast.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so me. I got cast as me. But we got to film in there. It was a really cool story. Once again, I worked with L.C. Holt on there, and Spencer and Celeste.
Yeah, Spencer Madison, Celeste Brand.
I like how you know last names. I don't know.
I'm trying
anybody's
to.
last
I try to remember names.
names. I don't know anybody's
Because
last
we need
name.
to shout people out so people can look them up. Spencer Spooky Madison. She's
Yeah.
also part of Renegade now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a fun project to be a part of, and like I said, any Tori Jones projects are really fun to be a part of, and you've been a part of a few of them too. So he's a good guy, good director. He knows what he wants. I will say he knows exactly what he wants when he gets on set, and he knows what he's looking for, and I love every bit of it.
So what was your favorite part of Phantom Fun World?
Favorite part?
Without spoilers.
Yeah, I almost spoiled it too, so I'm glad you said that before I said anything.
Speaking of, that is out on Tubi, if you want to check it out.
It is, and it's been out for a while, so if I spoil anything, I'm sorry. You should have watched it already. I will say it probably was building that connection with the cast members.
Okay.
Because a lot of them I haven't worked with. So being able to be on set for a long period of time with these people and kind of building this family bond, I feel like we got a lot of that. Wes Robinson, he was in Blair Witch Projects. He was on that as well, and he was a really good guy to work with.
You remembered his last name.
I did. Way to call me out. But no, it was just building those connections and being with Tori again, and Jason Crow was on there, and Ken Daniels was on there. So a lot of the people.
Wow, a lot of last names.
I have to last name drop now. But I mean, it's the people that you work with in the indie film, and you get this connection and this bond with them, and it's always fun reconnecting or making those friendships along the way. So
yeah, like I always say, film is a lot like summer camp. Like when you're a kid, because you get to go for like, I mean, it depends on the project. Obviously, you get there for like 2 weeks, and you get to really bond with these people. But it's also the sad part too, because then you leave and you don't see them again until like the premiere or something, which sucks.
That or you never see them again. Honestly, there's been plenty of people I work with I've never seen
for
since.
sure.
But yeah, so I
wish it was you, but somehow we still are working together.
Here we are. Yeah, I don't. It sucks for you.
All right, so let's move on a little bit from the indie stuff. I know everyone wants to know, what was it like being on Chicago PD?
Chicago PD was fun. It was really fun. Let me real quick jump into how I even got to that point, because it's crazy how that story even evolved.
Yeah, so what was the audition process like?
So I'd gotten a call from my agent the day before. The day before it needed to be submitted. She goes, "Hey, can you submit it?" I was like, "I'm at work right now, but I'll get it submitted." Well, work ended up rolling over, and I had to work a double because somebody didn't show up. So I kind of got screwed, and I was like, "Hey, is there any way I can get an extension on this?" At Chicago PD, probably not. She was like, "I don't think so. I think they need it right now." It was a quick turnaround. So I was like, "That's fine. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I definitely we'll try the next one." And I'd say it's probably 11 p.m. that night or 12. And they were like, "Hey, they really want to see you. Is there any way you can get it tomorrow by 5?" And I was like,
well, that's already a good sign.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah. I was like, absolutely. So I stayed up. I broke it down. I did the audition. No, this is what happened. So I went to work the next day. I was like, I have to get it in by 5 o'clock because I was tired at night. So I fell asleep, went to work the next day. Rushed home, forgot my tripod was broke. So I had to run to Walmart. Got a tripod, rushed home, set it up. I had 30 minutes before the audition needed to be due. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to knock this out now. So I did it. I did it like 4 or 5 times. The joy of having self-tape.
Self-tape,
yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I did it like 4 or 5 times. I found the one that I liked. I was like, this has to work. It was like 10 minutes right before I needed to get submitted. So I sent it through. I heard crickets for 2 weeks, and it was a quick turnaround. I knew they were filming. So I heard back from them 3 days before they started filming.
Wow.
Or 4, maybe it was 4 days. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to get it. I'm laying in bed, and I get a phone call from my agent. She FaceTimes me though, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So I was like, hey, what's up? And she was like, hey, are you going to be able to get to Chicago tomorrow? Or whatever. It was like 2 or 3 days. And I was like, yeah, wow, what's up? And she was like, you got the role. I was like, quit playing with her.
Well, you had a producer callback too first.
Yeah,
I don't think you talked about that.
It was So I was like, get out of here. And she's like, no, you got it. And I was like crying. And I'm not even joking. I was literally crying tears because it's the first big thing I've ever gotten. I've been doing this for 15 years now. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just did this. So fast forward, get on set, and you go into CineSpace, which is a big, like, it's like Hollywood pretty much.
Well, hold on. Before you talk about the set, we're going to go ahead and throw on, for those that are watching the video podcast, we're going to go ahead and throw on the audition to the screen video that I made for Brandon.
You made me something?
Yes, you paid me for it, bitch.
All right, everybody, put your hands on the table. Come on, nice and slow, hands on the table. Do it now, or I will fill you with holes. Now, hands.
All right, and now we're back. So now you've seen the audition and you've seen exactly what it looked like. So can you tell us what was going through your mind with the audition?
Not to get arrested, because at the time I lived in a condo and I had people next to me, and for that audition that you've seen, it was pretty intense.
That's true. Yeah.
So I was really worried that I was going to get the cops called on me. I'm not even going to lie to you. So from here on out, I'm going to. Yeah. Well, now I live in a place where I can do it now, but back then I was like, I should have warned somebody, because I was like, get on the ground.
So then how similar was it from the audition to actually being on the
It was
Chicago
pretty
PD
spot
set?
on, and I was actually kind of surprised, honestly. I felt like getting on set and stuff, they were going to critique me and be like, hey, let's try it this way, let's do it. But I got on set, did exactly, and they didn't have any notes. They didn't say, hey, can you do this a certain way? Like, it was pretty spot on, honestly. I think there's a few times I dropped a couple F-bombs during takes. And
really?
Yeah, I did. And they're like, you can't do that. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Doesn't that work?
yeah. My brother on set did it too. He was cussing too.
You guys just got really into it?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a couple takes to get that out,
yeah.
Basically.
Well, yeah, but I did it by accident. And they're like, all right, cut. And I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys.
Did you get to talk to like any of the like leads on the show?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I got some really good advice from one of them. It was the main guy. I can never remember his name, but he literally is the main actor. And he was like, once you stop doing it because you love it, then you're not going to, you shouldn't do it anymore, is what he said. And I really didn't think about it until it finally hit me. I'm like, I love acting. I don't think that there's ever a day that I'll ever be like, I'm not going to do acting. But just in my regular life, I'm like, I need to start applying that, honestly. If I don't like to do something, then why am I doing it? And acting is one of those things that I feel like I will always have a passion for and do it. And I do see a lot of actors out there that do it for a paycheck. And I don't think that I could ever be one of those people that would do it for a paycheck.
Yeah.
But he was really nice. Everybody on set was really nice. There was a lot of good connections formed. I mean, we have connected with a bunch of people on Instagram. I've gotten a lot of pictures on set from people. So it was a good experience. And, just being there, like they treated you like royalty. They really did. I got my own trailer. During set, they gave you a menu and they're like, hey, do you want grilled asparagus with salmon today, or do you want pork chops with mashed potatoes? Like, it was real deal stuff. And then you got back in your trailer when you're done filming and all your food was just laying right out in front of you. I was like, I can get used to this. It was nice. It was nice. It was a good time, man. It was a really good time. Yeah, it was cool.
So we're talking about it. Where can they see it? Like, which episode is it on Chicago PD?
Yeah, so it's Chicago PD season 11, episode 2. And I'm glad that I got on episode 2 because it's one of the first ones you'll see as soon as you click on there. So it's the second episode, and you'll see some good stuff in there.
So you can see it on
you
Peacock.
Can see it on Peacock,
And,
so it's on Peacock, and then it's on NBC app or something. I don't know. It's whatever the app
Just
is.
wherever you can find it. I mean, I bought it on YouTube.
Go to Google, type in Chicago PD season 11, episode 2. It'll show you where you can stream it at.
Awesome, man. I know that's just the start too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, like we've talked about before, but like it's almost like that's the barrier that we had to break through is network TV. Like
What was amazing too, because it was at the very end of the year as well. You know,
True.
we're talking about dead periods,
Yeah.
wintertime. It was literally in December. I was filming December, I think it was a week before Christmas.
Yeah.
So like you get that so that was the end of the year. And then
That was,
I get
like,
to-
right
I
after
know.
the
And then I
strike,
get to
too,
go
yeah.
into January and
Yeah.
it's like a fresh start. It's a whole new year. So I got to finish off strong. And then now here we are, we're going to start off strong too. So.
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Well, congrats. I mean, I mean, you know, I'm one of your biggest supporters. I was so excited whenever you called me and that you got that.
Yeah, I know you messaged me and asked me for an autograph afterwards too.
I think I actually said I really hate you, but congrats. I guess we'll leave it at that, though.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, you can check out his stuff. Phantom Fun World's out. Chicago PD obviously is out, and Late Checkout is coming soon. You definitely need to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Go to Late Checkout on Facebook, Instagram. They have where you can buy the physical copies now too, and they're selling VHSs as well, which is really cool.
Perfect. So go ahead and snag that, and thank you again for tuning in to Podcast of Traveling Actors. We'll see you next episode.
We'll see you next time.